Okay, gang, this is the first time I will have ever done this, obviously. So this is our crayfish. You guys have seen the dissection with people who know what they're doing. So we'll give this a shot. First thing that you see, right? We talked about that. The exoskeleton, right? It's calcium, chitin is actually the protein that it is. You got the chelipeds, right? All of these structures that are coming out of the body that you've looked at. This exhibits metamerism, right? The body segmentation. And there are actually 19 body segments in the crayfish, but you can't see them. They've been fused into that tagmata, right? Those different specific body regions. How do I know there are 19 different segments? Because there is a pair of appendages for every body segment that there is. So that's kind of cool. What I wanted to share with you that they did not show you in here or the videos is they didn't spend a lot of time looking at respiration. So what we would do is, you guys have all these walking legs, right? And they showed that they can bend in all different directions, right? So they have these hinges, so they can bend, right, this way, that way, this way, right? And that aids in its motion. Obviously, very important evolutionary advantage. So whenever we're looking at this, right? Ooh, look at their eye. Look at that, look at that. And that's something that also the eyes are on eye stalks and they're movable, right? And they can see at night. We'll talk about that more in the PowerPoint lecture. The functions of all these things. Oh, I just lost a leg. All right, so the body region is called that cephalothorax, right? Cephalo means head. Thorax, I want you to think of the thoracic cavity, right? Right where our lungs are found. Well, it's also in this cavity, right? This is where all of the important organs are going to be located in the crayfish. But I want you to be able to see, so we're going to show something. What I would always have you do is you would go to one of these walking legs and you would try to pull, you wouldn't hold on. The carapace lifts up very easily, okay? I'm trying to show you, right? It lifts up very easily. But I want you to not squish on that and try to wiggle. I would have you wiggle a leg just at the base of that leg and wiggle and wiggle. And let me see, and try to pull something out of there. See that? You see that? Look at that. That's crazy. Okay, that comes out of, right? It's attached to the leg. It's attached to a walking leg. It's crazy. What is it? Everybody's like, oh, it's a paintbrush. It's a lung. No. Let me see. Let me show you something here. See if I can get you to see it in the. It really does fan out. It's hard to see, right, through the video here. It's not a very good quality, but it fans out. And if you guys, this worked out really, really well. It does look like a feather. It has all of these branches, and if you see it's vascularized, right? That latex, that pink shows me that I have blood running through there. Okay, so if we have this feathery thing that's highly vascularized, that has easy access to water, right? That's its gill. So it didn't talk about, whenever it talked about all the parts of the crayfish, it didn't talk about the gills. And the gills are actually attached. If we were to pull up the carapace, let's see, I'm just gonna pick this up very carefully, no cutting. And you can see inside there, look at all those gills. And there are gills attached, right, to every walking leg. So you can see that. I hope this works out okay. If not, there'll be take two. But if you look, you can see, look at all those blood vessels. Look at that. It works out really cool. Oh my gosh, this is probably the best, ow, it stabbed me. One of the best specimens that I've had as far as being injected with latex. You can see it going beautifully through all of the gills, okay? So what works out, what's super awesome about this is they, as a crayfish walks, right? This is open to the water outside. And then as it walks, those, the gills, I can't show you with my body, the gills kind of wave, right, with as the water is moving under that carapace. And what this area is called, uniquely enough, if you pulled the gills out of the way, you see this like clear, there's like a clear plastic that separates the gill chamber from the rest of the body. Okay, and that's called the gill chamber. All right, so those are all the gills. The gills are attached to each walking leg, and they have a free range of motion whenever the crab is walking and the crayfish is walking, and that's how it then extracts the oxygen out of the water. And this, I mean, this one's kind of a no-brainer when you think about, as far as we said, that every surface where oxygen exchange can take place, it has to be moist, it has to be wet. So it's common sense that crayfish, obviously the gills, they're in water, so it's a perfect place for gas exchange. Okay. All right. If you were going to look at these parts of this crayfish, we're looking down here, we see all the walking legs, right? These really, the crazy appendages up here, the maxillipeds, and then you can see their jaws. Okay, I'm having a difficult time, obviously. My hand out of the way. Right here, they are hard. They're very hard, and they open laterally. If you were in the classroom, you could see teeth on them. It's pretty crazy. And, oh, right here, I should use my pointer. Right here, those little openings, do you see that? Those are the excretory glands for the nitrogenous waste. So if we were going to look right on the inside, right here at the base of the eye, when they showed you in the dissection, that's where that green gland would be, right? The nitrogenous waste, analogous to the kidney in us, analogous to the nephrostome inside the earthworm. Okay, so they're getting a little more, advanced. Okay, so looking at, this is pretty cool too. This is something you would see, these fan out. Do you see that? They fan out, and these structures that are kind of all around the mouth, I guess I should have said that, they keep the water circulating so that it does, when it does excrete nitrogenous waste, it pushes that right out away from the mouth area. Even though it doesn't really matter, it's not going to ingest it really or inhale it, since it's gas exchange across the gills. Okay, so these structures down here, right? These are called the swimmerets, okay? And this one, how could you tell whether this was male or female just by looking at it? Well, you could tell by looking at the size of these swimmerets. They're huge, they're very well developed. Those are the female. That means that's where she's gonna carry eggs or possibly young, and you'll see that when I show you the PowerPoint video. Now up here, right, in the male, you would have, they look like another set of walking legs. Maybe if I dig through my bag of crayfish that I have on the back porch, I would find a male. But right up in here, we would have, and they're called gonopods. Think gonads, right? Gonads, those reproductive structure. Pod, that's feet. Pod, that's feet. Which kind of brings me back to, right, the phylum Arthropoda, arthra, right? Arthritis, joints. So arthro, joints, poda, ped, pod, that means feet. So arthropod means jointed feet, jointed appendages. Touch my camera with these hands.